The sun had just started dipping behind the Los Angeles skyline when Kendall Jenner appeared at the entrance of a towering glass building in Century City. Paparazzi lenses clicked furiously, capturing every second of her arrival. Dressed in sleek office Siren Glam, tailored black pencil skirt, sharp cream blouse, glossy red lips, and oversized glasses, she looked like she had stepped out of a corporate dream. For years, Kendall had been known as the runway queen, the quiet powerhouse of the Kardashian-Jenner clan. But tonight felt different. There was something deliberate in her walk, something more than fashion. The press had already been buzzing about her career shift comment in last week's interview, where she teased that she was exploring a new professional chapter. The crowd outside whispered loudly, their voices colliding with the flash of cameras. Is she starting a company? One fan gasped. Maybe a film role, another speculated, clutching a phone recording every second. Inside the lobby, her heels echoed against the marble floor. Reporters weren't allowed in, but the glass walls gave everyone outside a clear view. She paused briefly at the reception desk, exchanging a smile with the building staff before heading toward the golden elevators. That smile, confident, calm, almost secretive, ignited even more speculation. Online, Twitter feeds erupted instantly. Photos of Kendall in her office Siren look flooded timelines, tagged with words like CEO vibes and Boss Kendall. Fashion bloggers hailed her as the rebirth of corporate glam. But gossip accounts added fuel to the fire. She's not here for fashion. She's here to seal a deal. Meanwhile, back at the entrance, her security struggled to control the surge of paparazzi. Their questions flew like darts. Kendall, is this your new office? Are you leaving modeling for good? Is it true you're launching a billion-dollar brand? She said nothing. Silence had always been her strongest move. Upstairs, behind tinted glass, Kendall disappeared into a private conference room. The blinds lowered automatically, hiding the scene from the hungry cameras below. A shadow moved beside her, an unknown figure, tall, sharply dressed, perhaps an investor, perhaps a Hollywood executive. No one outside could tell. That mystery alone was enough to set the city on fire. By nightfall, entertainment sites had already crafted headlines. Kendall Jenner seen in Century City glass tower, major deal happening. And office Siren Kendall, new CEO in town. Her fans waited, refreshing feeds every second. Everyone wanted to know what was behind those closed doors. The conference lights flickered off around 9 p.m. and Kendall finally reemerged. Her blouse was slightly unbuttoned now, her lipstick faded, her hair loosely falling from its perfect bun. It was the look of someone who had been in serious talks. Yet when asked by a daring reporter if she had just signed the deal of a lifetime, Kendall only smirked, slid into her black SUV, and disappeared into the night. The mystery was far from over. In fact, it had just begun. Tomorrow morning, the headlines wouldn't just be about her outfit. They would be about the whispers inside that glass tower, the rumors that Kendall Jenner was about to step into a role no one had ever imagined for her. The next morning, Los Angeles woke up buzzing. The sun barely touched the city's glass towers when headlines plastered across every gossip site, Instagram page, and Twitter feed screamed one thing. Kendall Jenner in office Siren Glam. Biggest career shift yet? Photos of Kendall in her pencil skirt, glasses glinting in the flash, flooded social media. Fans reposted the pictures with captions like CEO, Kendall is my new religion, and she's serving corporate goddess. Energy. Fashion critics declared it the rebirth of office Siren Glam. But gossip. Journalists wanted more. They wanted answers. By mid-morning, TMZ had already released shaky footage from the night before, showing Kendall entering the Century City skyscraper. The voiceover speculated, why would Kendall Jenner walk into one of the most exclusive business towers in LA? Rumor has it she's meeting with investors. That clip alone racked up millions of views in just 2 hours. Meanwhile, fans outside the glass tower returned, hoping for another glimpse. They stood behind barricades, holding up posters, phones ready, chanting her name like she was stepping onto a runway. The air smelled of perfume, coffee, and heated excitement. But inside her Beverly Hills mansion, Kendall sat calmly at her marble kitchen island, scrolling through her phone. She wore a silk robe, hair in a messy bun, sipping iced coffee. Her sisters were already texting her. Kim, what's going on, Kenny? Everyone's calling me. Kylie, are you hiding something from us? Kendall just smirked. She liked the mystery. She thrived on it. By noon, things escalated. Vogue posted a cryptic story titled, "From Runway to Boardroom? Kendall Jenner's Possible Career Transformation." The piece analyzed her look down to every detail: how the glasses hinted at intelligence, how the sleek bun suggested power, how the red lipstick screamed dominance. They compared her to iconic women who reinvented themselves: Audrey Hepburn, Victoria Beckham. But then, a shocking twist. Page 6 published an exclusive claiming Kendall had been spotted with a tech billionaire inside that glass tower. They didn't name him, but described him as young, powerful, and very influential in Silicon Valley. The internet exploded. Is Kendall launching a startup? Is she leaving modeling for the tech world? Is this a business deal or a new romance? Paparazzi, hungry for answers, parked outside her driveway. Helicopters hovered above her neighborhood, zooming in on her garden, her pool, her every movement. Even her security seemed on edge. That evening, Kendall made her move. She stepped out onto her balcony in a silk slip dress, holding a glass of wine. The cameras below snapped frantically. For a moment, it looked like she might speak. The world held its breath. But instead, she just raised her glass, smiled faintly, and went back inside. The internet lost its mind. Memes flooded TikTok. Kendall knows something we don't. A trending hashtag appeared, Kendall the CEO. And just when fans thought the day couldn't get any wilder, news broke a bombshell update. Sources close to Kendall confirmed she had scheduled a press conference later that week in downtown LA. No one knew what she would announce. A new brand? A new career? Or maybe something that would turn the entire entertainment industry upside down. The world was watching, waiting. Even her own family didn't know the full story. But as the media obsessed over Kendall's every move, one blurry photo from inside the Century City Tower began circulating online, showing Kendall sitting across from a man whose face was just out of focus. Who was he? And why did he look so familiar? By sunrise the next day, social media wasn't just buzzing, it was on fire. The blurry photograph that leaked overnight had taken on a life of its own. It showed Kendall Jenner sitting in the Century City glass tower, leaning slightly forward in her chair, her hands resting delicately on the polished table. Across from her sat a tall man in a tailored suit, his profile just barely visible, his face hidden in shadow. That single image, though unclear, was enough to send fans, bloggers, and gossip pages into overdrive. Who is he? Became the internet's new obsession. Threads popped up on Reddit, TikTok, and Twitter. Fans zoomed in on the outline of his jawline, his expensive-looking watch, the faint glint of silver hair. Some claimed it was a Silicon Valley billionaire. Others insisted it was a Hollywood producer. A few wild theories even suggested it might be a politician. The hashtag #Kendall and him trended worldwide within hours. Meanwhile, Kendall's day began with a drive through Beverly Hills in her black Rolls-Royce. Paparazzi chased her car like hawks, their motorcycles weaving between traffic just to catch a glimpse. Kendall, ever calm, wore oversized sunglasses and a cream trench coat. She looked more like a movie star on the run than a model. Outside the Beverly Hills hotel, reporters swarmed. "Kendall, is the mystery man your boyfriend? Is this a power deal? A love story, or both?" She ignored them, slipping inside with her bodyguards, her silence louder than any answer. Inside the hotel, she joined a small group in a private lounge. The decor glowed with golden chandeliers, velvet couches, and the faint scent of roses in the air. Only a few trusted friends were present. Hailey Bieber, her longtime confidant, sat close by, looking equally tense and amused. Hailey whispered, "They're not going to stop until they know who he is." Kendall only smiled, stirring her tea slowly, her diamond ring catching the light. "Let them wonder," she said softly. But by afternoon, things spiraled further. A paparazzi agency released another photo, this time sharper, captured just as the man stepped out of a sleek black car near the Century City building the night before. His face was still partially turned away, but clearer now. He was handsome, tall, and dressed in a charcoal suit. Entertainment Tonight ran the headline, "Mystery Man with Kendall Jenner Identified." They hinted it might be none other than Ethan Kross, a young billionaire investor known for tech startups, luxury fashion investments, and high-profile romances. The revelation sent shockwaves across the internet. Ethan Kross wasn't just rich, he was influential. His portfolio stretched from Silicon Valley to Paris Fashion Week. If Kendall was working with him, it meant something massive was in play. Fans split into two camps. One camp screamed about romance. Kendall's finally dating someone powerful, not just a celebrity. She's giving billionaire girlfriend vibes. The other camp speculated about business. Forget modeling. She's about to become a mogul. Fashion empire incoming. Kendall plus Ethan go unstoppable. That evening, Kendall made yet another move that only deepened the mystery. She arrived at Giorgio Baldi, the famed celebrity restaurant in Santa Monica, looking radiant in a form-fitting white dress and diamond earrings. Paparazzi flashes turned the night into daylight as she glided past the crowd. And who joined her at the back entrance, slipping in quietly minutes later? Ethan Cross. The sighting confirmed it. The whispers were now screams. Inside, witnesses said they sat in a private booth, heads close together, laughing softly, occasionally touching hands. One diner described it as intimate but also powerful, like a deal was being made. By midnight, the tabloids declared it official. Kendall Jenner's billionaire connection revealed. But the truth was still hidden. Was this business, romance, or something much bigger? Kendall knew the answer, but she wasn't ready to share it yet. As fans celebrated outside the restaurant, one sharp-eyed photographer caught a photo through the glass, Kendall sliding a thick, leather-bound folder across the table to Ethan Cross. And just before the blinds were drawn, Ethan's lips curved into a knowing smile. By the time dawn broke over Los Angeles, the city had already drowned in whispers. That one photograph, Kendall Jenner sliding a leather-bound folder across the table to Ethan Cross, was all it took to set the internet ablaze. Every gossip blog, fashion page, and news outlet dissected the moment. What was inside the folder? Business documents? A new brand deal? A secret script? Or something even bigger? On Twitter, theories flew like sparks. She's starting her own luxury label. That folder looked like a contract. $1 billion collab incoming. No, guys, it's definitely a prenup. She's marrying him. TikTok creators uploaded dramatic reenactments of the scene, complete with fake folders and candlelit dinners. The hashtag Kendall Folder Mystery hit 50 million views in less than a day. Meanwhile, paparazzi camped outside both Kendall's Beverly Hills mansion and Ethan Cross's Bel Air estate. Helicopters buzzed overhead. Even Kendall's neighbors complained about the constant chaos. Yet Kendall remained calm, a master of silence, watching the storm she had created. That morning, Kendall stepped out for a Pilates class in West Hollywood. She wore black leggings, a cropped hoodie, and carried a water bottle, her face shielded by dark sunglasses. Reporters swarmed her car. "Kendall, what's in the folder? Are you signing with Ethan Cross? Is this about your press conference?" She said nothing, only sliding gracefully into her SUV, the door shutting like the final word in a sentence. But inside the SUV, Kendall glanced at her phone. A text from Kris Jenner had just come in. "Kenny, what are you doing? Call me. We need to talk before this explodes." Kris was no stranger to scandals, but even she seemed unsettled. This wasn't a fragrance launch or a runway booking. This felt larger. By afternoon, Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and Business Insider all ran pieces speculating about Kendall's next chapter. Business Insider even claimed to have inside sources suggesting Kendall was preparing to launch a global lifestyle empire, one that combined fashion, wellness, and technology. If true, it would rival Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop, but on a billion-dollar scale. But not everyone was convinced. Page 6 hinted at a romantic angle, claiming Kendall and Ethan were seen gazing at each other with unmistakable chemistry. A waiter from Giorgio Baldi even told tabloids, "It didn't feel like a business dinner. It felt like a date with paperwork." And then, the twist. Late in the evening, a new leak hit the internet. A grainy photo allegedly taken inside the restaurant by a staff member showed the folder slightly open on the table. The letters VI were visible in gold embossing on the first page. Within minutes, hashtags erupted. In Project VI, fans speculated wildly. Some said it stood for Vogue International. Others thought it meant virtual influence, linking Ethan Cross's background in tech startups. A few conspiracy theorists suggested it stood for very important, as if it was a secret Hollywood code. As speculation grew, Kendall quietly arrived back at her Beverly Hills home. Photographers outside noted she looked serene, almost glowing, as if she knew something the world didn't. She carried a sleek black handbag, the kind that could easily fit that very folder. From inside, a source close to Kendall whispered to E. "News, she's in control. She knows exactly what she's doing. And when she speaks, it's going to change everything." The countdown to her press conference had officially begun. Invitations were already being sent to major outlets, influencers, and A-list celebrities. The venue? The Wiltern Theater in downtown LA, a glamorous, historic spot, perfect for spectacle. The press conference was set for Friday evening. But as the world prepared for her announcement, one last question lingered like perfume in the air. What exactly was Project 6? And was Kendall stepping into her most powerful role yet? Or was she hiding something much more shocking? Friday night in Los Angeles wasn't just another evening. It was a spectacle. The Wiltern Theater, usually reserved for sold-out concerts and Hollywood premieres, glowed under golden spotlights. Paparazzi lined the velvet-roped entrance, their cameras flashing like fireworks. Black SUVs rolled up one after another, releasing an endless stream of celebrities, influencers, and industry giants. It didn't feel like a business press conference. It felt like the Oscars. Inside, the theater had been transformed into a world of luxury. Rows of velvet seats faced a stage wrapped in shimmering silk curtains. The air smelled faintly of white roses, and the soft sound of violins floated through the speakers. Huge screens displayed the mysterious logo, VI in gold letters, the same letters seen on Kendall's leather-bound folder. No one knew what it meant. And that was exactly the point. Reporters murmured nervously, their notepads and cameras ready. Influencers whispered into their phones, live streaming every second. Fashion editors adjusted their designer coats, while business executives checked their watches impatiently. Everyone felt it. Something big was coming. At 7:30 sharp, the curtains rippled open and the room fell silent. The stage lights dimmed to a soft glow and a single spotlight landed on the center. The crowd gasped. Kendall Jenner walked out. She was breathtaking. Dressed in a deep emerald power suit with sleek black heels, her hair pulled back in a sharp bun, she looked nothing like the runway Kendall people were used to. This wasn't just glam, this was authority. She carried herself like she owned the stage, the room, maybe even the world. Behind her, a second figure appeared. Tall, confident, sharply dressed in a tailored navy suit, Ethan Cross. The whispers erupted instantly. Cameras flashed. They're together! No, it's business. It's both. Look at them. Kendall walked to the podium, her heels echoing against the stage floor. She paused, scanning the audience, her gaze calm and commanding. When she finally spoke, her voice carried through the room like a smooth melody. "Good evening," she began, her tone steady, polished. "Thank you all for being here tonight. For years you've known me as a model, a reality TV personality, and someone who has worked with some of the most talented designers in the world. But tonight I want to show you a new chapter, a new vision." The screen behind her flickered, displaying images of sleek designs, futuristic buildings, and glowing words. Project 6. Murmurs rippled across the room. Phones shot up, recording every second. Ethan stepped forward, his hand brushing briefly against Kendall's arm, a small gesture that sent the gossip mill into a frenzy. He leaned into the microphone. Project 6 isn't just a brand. It's a revolution. A merging of luxury fashion, wellness, and cutting-edge technology. Together, we're building an empire designed for the future. The audience erupted in applause, though the tension remained electric. Was this truly business, or was romance fueling the empire? Kendall smiled faintly, then continued. SIC stands for Vision International, but it also stands for something personal to me. It's about evolution. It's about creating a space where fashion meets innovation, where luxury meets lifestyle, where influence becomes legacy. Her words hung in the air like poetry. Some in the crowd looked awestruck. Others scribbled notes furiously, already preparing tomorrow's headlines. And then, the twist. As Kendall and Ethan prepared to reveal the first product line of Project 6, a journalist shouted from the back, "Kendall, is this really just about business, or are you and Ethan together?" The room froze. Cameras swung toward her face, eager to capture her reaction. Ethan glanced at her, waiting. Kendall didn't flinch. She leaned closer to the microphone, her lips curling into the faintest smirk, and then, just as she opened her mouth to answer, the lights suddenly dimmed. The big screen behind them flickered. A new image appeared, one no one expected. A short video clip of Kendall and Ethan at Giorgio Baldi, the folder between them, his hand covering hers. Gasps echoed through the theater. Kendall's eyes narrowed. Ethan's jaw tightened and the room erupted in chaos. Was this a leak, a hack, or a perfectly staged twist? The crowd demanded answers. The cameras flashed like lightning. And Kendall leaned toward the microphone again, her eyes gleaming with fire, ready to drop a bombshell that would silence the room. The Wiltern Theater was in chaos. Gasps, whispers, and camera shutters collided into a storm. The leaked video on the big screen, Kendall sliding the folder across the table, Ethan's hand covering hers, played on a loop for the entire audience to see. Some in the crowd were scandalized, clutching their pearls. Others were thrilled, phones raised high, desperate to capture the moment. The reporters went wild, shouting over one another, "Is this romance or business, Kendall? Did you stage this? Are you hiding something bigger?" The lights cast a dramatic glow on the stage as Kendall stood firm, her emerald suit glittering under the spotlight. Ethan's expression was unreadable, his jaw clenched, eyes darting toward the massive screen. For a moment, it felt like the empire they were building had collapsed before it even began. But Kendall didn't move away from the podium. She leaned forward, letting the silence drag, making every second heavier than the last. Her smirk grew into a knowing smile. Finally, she spoke. "You've all been asking the same question. Is this about business or romance?" Her voice echoed powerfully, commanding the room. She glanced briefly at Ethan, then back at the audience. "The truth is, it's both," the room erupted. Some screamed in disbelief, others clapped, and cameras flashed like fireworks. Kendall raised her hand for silence. "For too long, people have tried to put women like me in boxes. Runway model, reality star, influencer, pretty face. But what I'm showing you tonight is something different. I am not leaving one world behind for another. I'm building both." The crowd quieted, hooked on every word. Ethan stepped closer, placing his hand gently on the podium, but Kendall didn't need his support. She was in full control. "Ethan and I share a vision," she continued. "Yes, we're partners in Project 6, but we're also partners in life. What you saw on that screen wasn't a scandal. It was the truth. We believe in each other. We believe in building something greater together. And that's exactly what this is." Behind them, the screen shifted to a stunning promotional reel. Models walked through futuristic sets wearing sleek, powerful designs, suits, dresses, eyewear, all under the new label 6. Drones flew over luxury spas, eco-friendly villas, and cutting-edge wellness centers. The video was cinematic, breathtaking, unlike anything the fashion world had seen. The message was clear. This wasn't just another brand launch. It was a global empire in the making. The audience gasped as the reel ended with a bold tagline. Project 6, the future has a face. And then, the image of Kendall Jenner appeared on screen, glasses on, lips red, the same office siren look that had started the frenzy days earlier. The applause was thunderous. Some stood on their feet, clapping wildly. Others scrambled to upload the clip to social media, where it went viral within minutes. Hashtags flooded every platform. Just Kendall VI, the future has a face, Kendall CEO. But beneath the applause, not everyone was convinced. A few critics in the crowd whispered, "This is too much, too fast." Others muttered, "She's stepping into dangerous territory. Business, love, fame, all at once. It could explode." Outside the theater, chaos unfolded as fans and paparazzi surged against the barricades, desperate to catch Kendall leaving. Chants of "Kendall! Kendall!" shook the air. Backstage, Kendall finally exhaled, her composure softening. Ethan leaned close, his voice low, just for her. "You know this means war with the industry. They'll come for us harder than ever." Kendall smirked, her eyes fierce. "Let them. This is just the beginning." As she stepped into her SUV, flashes blinded the night sky and the world buzzed with the weight of her revelation. Kendall Jenner was no longer just a model, no longer just a star. She was a CEO, a mogul, and half of the most powerful new couple in Hollywood. But whispers already began to circulate, even as her SUV disappeared into the darkness. Some said Ethan Cross had secrets of his own, secrets that could shake Kendall's empire before it even fully rose. Kendall had revealed her truth, but had she also walked into a storm far bigger than she imagined?